Welcome, RadioActive, to another installment of the pod. I am Ian,
I am Victoria.
and tonight we are going to be discussing what it means to be a people pleaser.
Yes. So I think to start this episode off, we need to define people pleaser for people that may not know what a people pleaser is. Some people that have no problem with putting people in their place may not know what a people pleaser is. So Google says a people pleaser personality means a person feels a strong urge to please others even at their own expense. So it doesn't even necessarily have to be like correcting someone, but just in general trying to make everybody happy. They may feel that their wants and needs do not matter or alter their personality around others. So, with that being said, Ian and I have both been in situations where we have been a people pleaser, whether it's, like the definition says, altering your personality around other people or not wanting to correct someone when they're wrong. So, Ian, do you have any stories that come to mind?
So, I was interning at a company this summer whose name will not be spoken. Um, so there was a day close to the end of the program called National Intern Day. So that was when all the interns gathered at a place for fun activities and alcoholic beverages and good food. So one of the higher ups, one of the big head honcho managers, right? One of these guys was sitting down with a group of girls that was in my class, right? And I just went over and I just kind of sat down and I started talking. I'm like, "Oh, what's going on, everybody? How's it going?" And then this higher up, this manager, he was just a douchebag, for lack of a better term. Big ego, just thought he was all that in a bag of chips. And the reason I didn't correct him is because I didn't want to get fired. I didn't want to say anything, stand up for myself, and be like, why don't you go fuck yourself, right? But I didn't say that, obviously. So here's what happened. So sat down and I don't remember how he said it, but basically I started talking and then, oh, yeah, no, a few people got up to throw their trash away and I'm like, second I sit down, people start leaving, huh? And he looks at me and he says, "Yeah, you seem to have that effect on people, don't you?" And I'm like, okay. So then we start talking, and one of the girls was like, "Yeah, Ian's been out there like practicing his serve and his spike and his bump." And the guy goes, "Yeah, and hey, Ian, I hear if you go over there and start playing, that people will start following you." And I'm like, "Okay, this guy's being a dick. This guy's being a real piece of work." Um, and then finally, the big thing was he started asking in a circle. There's like about 7 or 8 girls sitting at this table, which I don't understand why a middle-aged man who's married and might have a kid or two is sitting around a bunch of young adult women, but whatever. I don't know. Maybe it's just to be nice, but this guy was kind of a dick, so I don't really have any empathy or sympathy for him. Um, he asked everyone where they went to school, and when he got to the last girl, he didn't even acknowledge me. He didn't look at me. He just completely ignored me and disregarded me. I didn't even chime in with, "Oh, I go to UMSL." I just kind of said, "You know what? I'm going to get up and leave." So that's kind of an example where it's like, dude, what's the matter with you? Like, I wanted to speak up and say something, but I was just like, I got to bite my tongue and swallow my pride because this is a work outing. He is a very powerful man, and I can't really say anything. I can't do anything.
And I think that's where a lot of like people's people pleasing comes from. Like not necessarily like later on like that in a job, like when you're in your 20s, but like in school, specifically like when you're with a group of classmates and you want to like fit in with them and they kind of like chirp you a little bit, you don't really want to like say anything back because then they're
Well,
but you know what I mean? Like if that's like the only group of people like you can possibly hang out with and like they're saying mean shit to you, but you want to like fit in with them, you're not going to say anything, right?
that's where it gets kind of
Yeah,
debatable.
because for me, I went to school in a small town and my class was max 22 kids. So, majority of the class were like the popular people and then the odd 5 people were kind of like the people that the other classmates didn't associate with. So obviously you wanted to go to the more popular people so you weren't being shit on, right?
Right.
But if they didn't necessarily like you, but you didn't want to say shit back to them because then you're going to end up here. So you just kind of like pleased them and did shit for them and they were kind of like using you, right?
Right. And I think the thing is too with that, I mean, you know, I think we all age and mature. And one thing Andy Biersack, um, through reading his book, I could feel it and I could visualize it in my head. People have the capability to grow and mature as they get older or they get farther into, for Andy, it was his career as a musician, right? He's not perfect. And a lot of people dog on him. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to have a sense of humor. I mean, for heaven's sake, I think there's a fine line of messing around with your buddies because that's what we do. When a group of guys get together, you're like, "Oh, what's up, you pansy?" Or I don't know, some obscene thing I will not say on this podcast, but you know what I mean. You know what
Mhm.
I mean, and I think there's a difference between giving your friends shit and just going out of your way to be incredibly rude.
Mhm.
And I faced that growing up. I mean, I was bullied, I was picked on, harassed online, and I just didn't say anything. I didn't do anything for mostly because I'm a small, skinny guy. I mean, what well, at least back then I was. I mean, I kind of put on some weight as I got older, but you can't do anything. And it's not necessarily about people pleasing as much as it's the inability to do anything, to
Mhm.
make a stand, to fight your case, right?
Mhm. Well, and I just remember like a people pleasing story I have is so the school, like I said, that I went to was very small, like not a lot of kids. So my sister is 2 years older than me. So obviously I got a lot of her teachers when I got into whatever grade. And a lot of teachers would miss say my name. Like they would call me Paige. And it's like, I'm Victoria, but okay. And a lot of the times I wouldn't say anything because I felt bad. I'm like, I don't want to feel stupid that they got wrong. So I'd be like, yeah, like whatever. And I remember one particular time we were in gym class and I was just so sick of my name. Like, I'm Victoria. How many times do I tell you to get it right? It's not that hard. There's not that many kids. Like, come on. And when the teachers was like, yeah, Paige, you're over here. And I was like, oh, actually, like, my name's Victoria. And that popular group of kids that I was talking about, that always
Yeah.
would sass the teacher back when I said it. They were like, "Oh, Victoria, you don't have to be such a bitch and stuff." And I'm like, "You know what? Like you guys are the ones like getting into verbal like abuse fights with the teachers on a daily, and I'm just correcting a teacher pretty politely about saying my name wrong."
Yeah,
So,
just being like, "Oh, actually, sorry, my name's
yeah,
Victoria."
and even stated like a rude way, like, "Bitch, what are you talking about? My fucking name's Victoria. Like, what's wrong with you?" Like, you say it like that. I was a very quiet kid in school. So it was just like I hated having to say anything, but I was just like, oh, actually, like I'm Victoria, but like okay. And then that kind of was like, and then after that, like you kind of feel like an asshole, even though you didn't do anything. So
You didn't
then,
do anything wrong. You were
so
just
then,
like,
but I think that was probably when I was in like grade 4. So I would have been like 10. So do you think I want to correct anyone after that? Like,
No.
no. So then you just kind of like please people from then on. So anytime someone would call me Paige, it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. Go with it. So
There are things that are just astronomically inappropriate, right? Like just something of a great magnitude that is just, oh my God, I can't believe you just did that. And then there's just these microscopic little insignificant things that are just like, whatever. That doesn't really matter if it's stupid. Like, oh, if your food takes a little bit at a restaurant,
mm-hmm.
right? If you're
Not a
sitting
big
down
deal.
at like a Raising Cane's or something, right? And you're waiting for your food and you're like, oh, it's taking a little bit, but look outside. Is it raining cats and dogs? Is the world ending?
Mm-hmm.
Is,
Not that big of a deal. Like,
no,
to
it's,
me, there's some people that will be like, okay, I sat down 15 minutes ago, so my food needs to be out in another 5 minutes, and it's not out in 5 minutes. And then they just go ballistic. It's like,
yeah,
big picture here. Are you in a rush? Chances are, if you're sitting down in a restaurant to eat, you're not in a rush. And like, why do you feel the need to like call the waiter over and be like, my food should be out by now. Where is it? Go get it.
yeah.
Go make them hurry up. Like, really? Some people are just too like problematic.
Oh yeah, I was in the customer service like side of said company whose name I will not, cannot, shall not speak. But I would help customers on a daily basis. I make phone calls. I get them the method of transportation that they need, and I do it in a timely manner. And, as an intern, there will be times where I would be in the office by myself. I was not able to help customers. As a result, they would jump my case. And it's like, how the hell is any of this my fault? Like, I'm here trying to help you with little to no experience in this side of the business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
you got to think before the white collar position that this company offered, I was a blue collar worker. I was doing the grunt work. I was doing things that people didn't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's a big part of people pleasing is just customer service. Like people get so angry and so irritated at the just things that are, did you break a leg? You know what I mean?
Well, here's a people pleasing story for you. So I used to work a job. I don't want to say what job because I don't want to get in trouble. But there were two times, just two, not that many, but two. So there was a time where I was working and my coworker, we were working together, and this guy came in to buy an item that had a discount tag on it. But the discount wasn't supposed to be applied until the following week. They were put on early for some reason. We got the shipment, we put them on the shelves, and it was this older guy, and he comes up to the till, and we're ringing him through. We scan the stuff, and we said, your totals, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, oh, but this should be 30% off. And we're like, oh, no, like that sale only starts next week. And he was just like, oh, well, I guess I'm going to like put it back and whatever. And me and my coworker were like, oh, could we like, we felt so bad, like people pleasing. We were like, we feel so bad that that happened. So you're only supposed to use your employee discount on family and friends, and you're not supposed to use it all the time. But we used our discount on this guy and gave him the for more than what it was supposed to be off.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one of those things that I kind of noticed too, especially in a such a business oriented like workplace. The customer is not always right. That is bullshit. I want to
Mm-hmm.
go on the record and say that. That's
Yes.
not it's not entirely true. But if you promise something, if you advertise something, you better deliver.
Mm-hmm.
You better
Well,
deliver on that.
and the company I was working for wasn't necessarily like the best and most reputable company. Like they kind of sewered their employees and customers. Yeah. So I mean, at this, if you called them out on false advertising, they would somehow turn it on you and blame it on you.
Right,
So
exactly. You just
so
have to
really, when we gave the guy that discount, we kind of just gave, the finger, like,
yeah, a
whatever. If we
couple of
get fired
these.
for it, you know what? At the time, they were already losing employees left, right, and center. So we're like, if you want to get rid of us too, whatever. You're paying me crap money to work here anyway. So
Right, right, right. There are just certain things that you shouldn't have to put up with, and I think that that's one of them. So I guess to conclude tonight's episode, everybody, why don't you just drop some comments? Just tell us a story, and
and are you a people
maybe,
pleaser? Tell us if you're a people pleaser.
yeah, I mean, maybe we'll read it on the next Psycho Sunday that we do.
Yes, which we live stream on Instagram on the Radioactive page, which is at Radioactive Official 22. Every Sunday, our live stream is called Psycho Sunday. The name implies it's just absolutely ridiculous, and we have a lot of fun doing those streams. So,
We have a lot of fun doing these. It's just really lighthearted fun. We just mess around. It's really goofy. But seriously, guys, drop them in the comments. And if you want your name to be shouted out, if you want your name to be read, if you want your experience to be read, drop it and we'll take note of it and we'll read it on the next Psycho Sunday.
yes, absolutely. Okay, guys. We will see you in the next episode, which coincidentally, we're filming next.
Yeah, we're filming a couple of episodes in one night, just kind of quick 20 to 25-minute episodes because we have a lot going on with these next couple of months. Especially for me, I'm going to be pretty damn busy in October too. Well, actually, we're going to be doing a lot of podcasting stuff in October.
Which, more information for that will be coming out soon.
So, guys, thank you so much for watching tonight. Thank you for supporting the show in any way that you can. We understand we're not huge, we're not big, we didn't blow up overnight or anything. We're working on just getting our name out there. We're working on getting on other streaming platforms. We're working on merchandise. And Victoria, you want to tell them about a really big thing that we have coming up?
Yeah, Temple of Love, I assume, is what we're talking about. Yes, so we have been working for a few months, couple months now, on a Temple of Love music video. Not like a parody, but like just a fun music video, and we're like acting along in it and stuff. It's pretty cool. What'd you say? It's like Coffin, Rebel Love Song, and what was it? Not Goodbye, Another Life by Motionless in White. That's what it was. So it's like all those videos put together, and one of Ian's friends, Mary, is working on it. She's editing it all for us. She filmed it, and it's looking super good. So that will be coming out pretty soon too.
Soon. We've been talking about it a lot, and Mary, she has a lot going on too. She has a major photography thing going on that could go really big. She's in school. In fact, Mary and I are in American Sign Language 3 this semester starting tomorrow. Tomorrow's my first day of school. Thank you for watching. I'm going to quit rambling on. Have a good night, everybody.
All right. See you.